You can't just let misinformation run rife. So what's the solution here?
Well, I do think there are problems, particularly with foreign state-sponsored disinformation, which is different from misinformation. I think that's part of the problem the government has run into. They're treating misinformation, which is your uncle saying something on Facebook innocently that's wrong, and disinformation, which is a Chinese bot factory pumping Twitter full of fake accounts trying to game the algorithm and drive content that divides our society, as the same problem. They're very clearly very different problems, and they have very different solutions. The Senate Select Committee on Foreign Interference through Social Media, which I chaired, handed down its final report a few weeks ago, and it had a series of recommendations that would go to that other problem, that very serious problem. And the way in which we deal with those problems is through transparency, not through censorship. So we should require the platforms to be transparent about any directions they receive from foreign governments. We should require them to label state-affiliated media on their platform.
So opaque, isn't it? And the way I see it, and I don't know whether you agree or disagree with me here, is that what Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg could do straight away, which would stamp this out, is not allow bots for a start, and also require some form of identification to have an account.
Look, some platforms are better than others at dealing with this problem, Laura. Some of them are more proactive. Others started to do some good things and then walked away from it. And that's why I think we really do need an enforceable set of transparency standards that we as Australians say, these are the minimum conditions we think you should meet if you want to operate a social media platform in Australia. It goes to things like having a legal and physical presence here in Australia so that you can be subject directly to our laws and our oversight in our parliament. Famously, WeChat even refused to appear before our inquiry. It goes to being transparent about how your platform operates and when you choose to take content off that platform and why. Opening yourself up to independent third-party researchers. Often these independent bot networks that have been identified have been found by researchers and academics because the platforms have opened themselves up to that scrutiny. But there are a lot of platforms that don't do that, like TikTok and WeChat, that are very opaque in their operations. And I think as Australians, we should insist, you want to operate in this country, you want to serve hundreds of thousands, if not millions of users, well, these are the criteria you have to meet to operate here.
Before I let you go, it is worth reminding our viewers what this fact-check unit was all about, how much money they potentially stand to gain from Meta. It was close to $1 million a year, and the unit at RMIT was essentially run by the opinion, I guess we could say, of a few. Is that fair?
Look, I think your colleague Jack Horton has really ably demonstrated that with his research, where he found that employees of the fact-check unit at RMIT, while doing supposedly independent fact checks on the Voice to Parliament debate, were on their own personal social media platforms tweeting support for the yes side of the debate, and in fact using pretty incendiary language to describe people on the no side of the debate, including the opposition leader Peter Dutton. Now, you cannot be both an activist and an impartial and independent fact checker. But it seems that RMIT, the Fact Lab, has tried to merge the two of those things. And it's no wonder that they have so disproportionately and unfairly targeted the no side of the case. Frankly, I don't think they're well equipped for this task. I think they are very clearly demonstrated their bias. And it's wise that Meta has got out of the business of doing this with them. But the ABC has a very significant relationship with RMIT. I think they should be reviewing that relationship in light of Meta's decision.
All right, James, good to talk to you. Thanks so much. A really important issue.
Thanks, Laura.